If you've ever made something and used your creativity for it, I think it's really important that you hold on to whatever that is that you created. Whether it's a book maybe you wrote or had an idea about, a drawing, maybe music that you wrote, anything, a movie script, something that you came up with yourself and that maybe you started as a kid or that you maybe picked up as a hobby at one point and then dropped it off. And I think it's really important to hold on to that creativity because that's kind of what separates you from a lot of other people. Not saying like your looks or your attitude or personality doesn't, but I think being creative nowadays is more important than ever. Um, Creative thinking is really interesting. You can be really clever with a lot of stuff, um, and just having a creative outlook on things. What's up, guys? My name's Call Me Crazy. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I wanted to talk about being creative and how to kind of hold on to that and maybe some examples of me being creative. Because I feel like I've always been an artiste myself. Ever since I was a little kid, I've been drawing comics and all sorts of manga and cartoons that I've looked up to as a kid. Like, for example, Dragon Ball Z is probably I have my biggest one. I think a lot of people can say Dragon Ball Z is a good place of starting like an art career. At least like back in the day, for sure. Um, I've also drawn a lot of cartoons I've watched, like Regular Show a little bit. I've drawn Adventure Time as a kid, stuff like that. And a lot of my creativity is kind of bled into parts of my life. So, like, for instance, I'm a programmer. I'm a computer scientist. I just graduated, and I try to be as creative as possible in that regard. Programming can get really stale and really like technical, in my eyes at least, if you're not creative with it. And so I think it's really important for me when I decided to do computer science is to get creative with it. When I mean creative, I mean obviously you got to follow your assignments in school. So there wasn't a whole lot of leeway into that, but you can do these things called comments. If you don't know anything about programming, you can make a comment that doesn't really affect anything inside the program. And I would just put little funny notes in there, like if I had to do like a bunch of math or something, I'd be like, "Wow, that's a lot of math," in one of my comments, or like, man, I really love doing math, and I really don't because, God, it sucked. I did not enjoy doing all that math in program. But besides the point, it's just funny little goofs like that because I did those notes so long ago, and I just went back today actually and looked through them, and I was looking through some old code that I wrote because I was using it to upload for my portfolio, and I was like, wow, these are some funny little comments I put in here. I'm glad I put them in there because I was getting really tired and bored of reading just the regular code. So stuff like that. I mean, I've kept up with drawing pretty much my whole life. I've had a lot of here's and there's where I took a break. I definitely remember like specifically announcing to myself I am taking a break here for about a year maybe or so. And even through college and through high school, I still continue to draw because I love drawing. I've always wanted to make comics. I already have like ideas about doing that stuff, and I kind of want it to come to fruition a little bit. And I think if you yourself are also a creative that has these like ambitions or has these ideas, then I think really you should hold on to them because I think they're really important. I feel like as a kid, most like kids, when they start out like in school, they have something creative about them that separates them, and I feel like a good bit of them lose that creation, that coming up with ideas bit. And I think it's really important as an adult, or at least like, through your years, you should hold on to something like that because it might come to fruition. I don't know. I feel like me holding on to drawing has brought me a lot of joy that I find in myself whenever I draw. It connects me with other people. Like on Instagram, I've followed some people for a really long time, and I've learned things from them through drawing, picked up tips how to get better. And it's always been a hobby for me. I haven't really taken drawing like too seriously, and it doesn't have to be serious. Like whatever your hobby is, your creative outlook on things, it doesn't have to be your job. I mean, it can be. That's really cool if it is, and if you still enjoy it. Um, but it can just be a hobby. And I think that's perfectly normal. It's fine. And I think it's important just to have something like that because I feel like life can get really dull in a lot of moments. And it's good to have something that isn't like just video games or just music or like consuming something, like maybe watching a show or watching a movie with somebody or something like that. I feel like doing something actively creative kind of fuels your brain into doing something that feels fulfilling. Because I mean, not gonna lie, the way like some people can like binge shows within like a week or two is pretty astronomical in my eyes because I can't do that. I can't do that shit. It's I feel like I wasted a huge amount of time. Like if I spent like a whole day binging a show, I used to do this sometimes. I would watch anime, or I guess more recently, maybe like in 2020, I'd watch The Boys. I'd watch like 4 or 5 episodes in a row, and man, I'd feel really stressed out, and I'm like, damn, I would just wasted so much of my time. Even though it was a good show, like I still enjoyed it. I just can't be that. I'm not that type of person. I feel like being creative and having like an outlet keeps your brain active. And I mean, you could be even in your 80s and 90s if you're living that long, and if you're still creative, I feel like that's kind of like a part of your personality you can hold on to, because a lot of like technical skills, once you get old enough, you just can't hold on to it anymore. You can't be always critically thinking at an old age as well. I mean, people always have like issues with like dementia, memory. Your memory starts to get lost. But I feel like if you are creative in something where it has like a rhythm or has like a sort of consistency to it, you can always come back to that. I think your brain just will recognize that more than something that takes a lot of critical thinking. I think critical thinking is maybe not exclusive to younger people, but is more, I guess, like people are able to conjure on that a little bit better than like older people would be. Because I mean, like most people that are above 80 years old are probably already in retirement, not really thinking too critically about a whole lot of things. At least I would hope not. Maybe you're unfortunate, but I feel like when I get older, when I become, I would hope to live to 80 years old, 90 years old. I would want a fulfilling life enough, but like towards the end, I would like to have something to hold on to. And I think that's just something that someone may need to hear, or someone might think, hey, maybe I should try doing something as like a hobby. And it could be anything, something simple. It's always good to start out, if you're going to do like a new hobby or like some type of craft, it's always good to start out like with basics. That's kind of like the honeymoon phase, is do the basics of something and get familiar enough with it to where you can start putting your own spin on things. And that's where it really gets fun. And I think that's really all I had to talk about with you guys today. I think everyone should just stay creative if you can. If you're not, maybe pick up a hobby or two. But that's all from me, guys. Thanks. See you next time.